Let's do it.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Not Famous Tattooers podcast. This is kind of our first really real episode, but technically second episode.
Welcome.
Welcome. I want to thank right out of the gate just people that have already tuned in, followed, subscribed, all that good stuff. Please, please, please. It helps us if you continue to do that.
Like, share, subscribe.
All the things. Press as many buttons down there as you can.
Yeah, buddy.
Comment. Let us know what you want to hear.
So
Today,
episode 1 of Tattooing Now and Then. I'll let you kick it off if you want.
All right. Well, so what we thought we'd do is kind of a little bit of a little history lesson for tattooing, and then also kind of we got some fun facts here on our phone about important points in the tattoo industry over the past, 100 years, couple hundred years.
6,000 years.
Yeah, just grab everybody in, and then everyone's in the loop, and then moving forward, what we talk about, it's just that much more familiar for our non-tattoo artist listeners. So I can just kick it off with this. One of our fun facts, 1769, Captain James Cook visited Tahiti and encountered the Polynesian term tattoo, which became the word tattoo in English.
And I think that's when tattooing as we know it today was starting to begin, rather than, well, the birth of the thought, oh, it doesn't have to be tribal. It can just be sick art.
It could be a drawing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, so let's look at the first electric tattoo machine. Patented, by Samuel O'Reilly in 1891. So arguably 1891 is when that shift started to happen, right? Because they would have gone from the stick and poke or Tabori style tattooing to an electric tattoo machine.
Yeah. Something I'd like to dive into is just the changes in the industry. As you were saying, like we went from Tabori and bone poking to electric machines, which really opened up the access to the modern day tattooer and what they were capable of doing, because now instead of a little poke and not really getting anywhere fast, I know Tabori artists can move fast, but it felt more like a pen.
And I don't know how open to the public the Tabori situation was.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I know people that have gotten tattooed that way by actual Samoans and that sort of thing. And it's more like I think historically it's been more like they pick you kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if the electric tattoo machine was actually moving forward to like the segue into the client picking the art.
Right. In the Flash era.
And the client picking the artist versus other way around.
Totally. And I think that goes into now fun designs rather than super meaningful, with the Tabori and indigenous tattoos. A lot of the times you earned your personality within the tribe that you were in, and you earned tattoos like
based on that.
Yeah, they probably tattoo like a giraffe on me because my legs are really long, or some representation of that, or whatever.
Right.
You like earned your tattoo.
My legs are short, so it'd be like a Shih Tzu,
Dachshund,
or a Dachshund, a moose. Anyway,
powerful,
little pity.
So, yeah, and I just wanted to go into like the evolution of like what we know today and kind of like run it from like the 80s, 90s till now, because I feel like we saw such a shift in tattooing, especially in the last 15 years. But really, once they started becoming legal in the United States, as you know, a lot of states like
Oklahoma
wasn't legal until what?
2007.
crazy stuff.
Is when Oklahoma legalized tattooing. I know. I had to go to Texas to get my tattoos. But yeah, I think to your point, like we've seen the most change in the past, like outside of these that we were just discussing with the Tabori to the actual electric tattoo machine. But now, like the past 15, 20 years, I would say there's just been change everywhere. This is from equipment to designs to application to how you learn,
Demographics,
everything,
culture.
Like, so much change that we actually, when we first started talking about this episode of tattooing then versus now, Josh and I quickly discussed like maybe this is more than one episode just because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think today will be like a kind of an overview, and then we'll sort of like break it down from there in the next
dive into details
2 or 3
of each
episodes.
Headline, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So something that I've noticed, and I know it's a hot subject in the industry, is coil versus rotary, flash stop versus private studio.
Yep.
What are your feelings on that?
I mean, that's a like, I feel like that's a,
you can have your opinion.
That's a conflict as old as like iPhone or Samsung, right?
Right.
And it's just people change. So me personally, with my journey, as far as like, I mean, I kind of worked at like what? I started at Junkyard Inc. So that was sort of like almost like a blend between a flash shop and a private studio. Not a flash shoot, but like, yeah, more of like a private studio versus like a street shop, right? So we had walk-ins and all that. When I started, we were all using coil machines. I think you probably started with coil.
100%, yeah.
I saw at that shop, one by one, my coworkers were all kind of going to some form of the rotary machine. I fought it. You know, I was that guy loyal to the coil, you know, like for a long time. And then I just got tired of wrestling with my coil machine. Every time I did a tattoo, I was like punching it, adjusting it, wiggling it, shaking it just to get it to fucking work. Always hitting that spring, right? And then
jump starting it.
I don't know. I borrowed do you know what I did? I bought a $50 Bishop V5 knockoff machine from a guy that drove by in a truck. He had a bunch of stuff. He probably stole it. Who knows? But it was a $50 knockoff. That machine actually outlasted the Bishops that I later bought that were the real deal. As far as I know, that machine's still going. I don't know. I gave it to an apprentice, but that was my first rotary, and I quickly saw the benefits there, right? Like every time I hit the gas pedal, it did the exact same thing at the exact same speed every single time. I didn't have to hit it, reprimand it, yell at it.
Not a lot of bog.
Did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, maybe not that loyal to the coil. And then that was my swap. I actually, at that point, because back then you needed 2 machines at least, right? This is prior to cartridge, which obviously we'll also discuss. But I quickly bought a actual real Bishop for my second machine, my shader, and that's sort of my experience with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very similar. I was super into coil, traditional, still would pride myself on being a traditional artist, even though I love black and gray and color too, but I love black and gray and traditional. Yeah. And to me, I just didn't want to tune my machines anymore and like
all the time
blowing springs or just whatever. And like the ease of having 8 cartridges to do a tattoo versus setting up 4 machines and kind of making them work versus I have the exact needle grouping that I want for this exact area. That was kind of a turning point for me where I'm like, I mean, I still love to line with my coil. I don't do it very often anymore, but if you're gonna line a back piece, a coil is the way to go. Like big, thick lines. And I know there's like 5 mil pens, and they do the job, and the Dan Cubans, like the Sidewinders and things like that, like those can power through lines, which I think the hybrid is really cool. The new Dan Cuban stuff. But yeah, I just really like the ease of like plug and play. Can work on a little pupil with a 3-round liner real quick, bust it out, pop in an 18 curve mag, and now I'm just like doing soft shadows on the face. And that to me was like, saves them money, saves me time. It's all disposable, super clean. I'm OCD, so like I don't have to now worry about like, is this actually clean? I'm like scrubbing the shit out of these two, autoclave, all that, and I'm like, I trust it. It's there for a reason, but the ease of like plug and play and just knowing my shit's clean and nice and always new, like, and like you said, the consistency of the rotary and the pens have just, you have no fluctuation in output.
I feel like the quality of my end product jumped 2 steps at minimum when I made that swap. Just by making the swap. It almost felt like cheating for a second.
No, it really, for sure. I mean, dude, the feeling of that vibration in your hand at the end of the night after like an 8-hour day with the coil, I don't really miss that.
No.
At all. Trying to eat dinner and your hands just kind of like buzzing
still humming. Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to lay in bed at night and just be like, fuck.
That's all you hear.
And then you're thinking about tomorrow's appointment and like,
you get to do it all over again.
Massage my hand? Yeah. Or you're just sitting there like doing it yourself.
Just the difference in how my body feels after, I think I converted to rotaries probably about 4 years into my career, maybe 5.
Okay, yeah.
And then, just the difference in how really my arms and my body in general feels after day having 8-6-hour sessions with my old Mickey Sharps versus
heavy ass brass.
They vibrate, like they go. And the difference between tattooing with those all day versus what I first swapped to, which was the Bishop B5, like crazy. I still had a steel tube on there.
Yeah.
But
it felt like a coil, but it hit like a rotary.
It was just different. Yeah. One of my original apprehensions for the swap was I had felt like I had gotten so used to that weight of those heavy ass machines, and those machines with their weight versus the weight of because I had probably a 2-inch grip on the stainless tube. And I just felt like that was a good balance, but it was enough weight to really drive that line for me.
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears going to the rotary, again, even though I had that 2-inch steel grip still, was like, I think my line work's going to be a little weak out of the gate because I don't have that extra weight to help me sink that line.
And I don't love to push. Like, I think going from like coil to like my first rotary was like a Michelangelo Bishop, and I was actually using an aluminum grip, so it was a really fucking, and that machine, it's fucking
doesn't weigh anything.
It's light as fuck, and so like pushing that, like I've never. You go 5-6 years with, you're actually almost pulling back from the weight of the
because you don't need it to go
when you're like on the ear bone or the wrist, hand, to now like physically pushing that needle into the skin. That was like, okay, am I gonna blow it out? Like, am I gonna get the needle stuck in the skin? It was such a weird transition for me. And then going to pen, I found myself like kind of really having to push because there was no like back weight.
Yeah.
And like even with the cords, the clip cords connected, like it was a lot of weight and a lot of tension on the back of your wrist, pretty much, inner thumb.
How long would you say your learning curve lasted as far as like transitioning and feeling like your work was the same with your coil versus your rotary or pen?
I would say color packing and shading was pretty quick, especially because I had that interchangeable cam.
Yep.
So it was 3.2 or 4.3, I think, were the millimeter strokes. And so like I didn't struggle with that. And I was actually like, oh, this shit goes in like butter, like super nice. But the lining, like honestly, years. Like I still to this day, to that comment earlier, like I do think coils line with like round shaders and traditional needle groupings, like larger groupings.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like the flux on the back end that allows like a little more give. I think truly the best lines are done by a coil, but obviously like some of the best ornamental and traditional artists today use pens and their lines are absolutely flawless. I do think it's a different learning curve. And I don't know, man, like still to this day, and I've been using a pen or rotary for 5 or 6 years now, that I struggle harder to do lines with a pen than I do with a coil.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just, and people will compliment our lines all the time, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. I went from like,
it just seems like a little
coil, it's like, it really is like butter, and you wipe and it's like first try and you're like, all right, that's a solid fucking line. Like sometimes in some areas, if it's like the back of the arm or the fucking neck or just like weird, the lat area, you'll push that line, it's 11 round shader, and you wipe and it looks like a fucking like 7 round liner, and you're just what the fuck? Like I've noticed I really have to focus on my angle that I'm going into the skin on and really find that depth, rather than when I had a coil, the weight of it just kind of fucking, and it's almost like with the coil, you know, you're like chasing that line. It's once you dive in, it's like, it's go time, because that shit is just hitting hard and fast. And like with the rotary, I can turn it down to 6.5 volts or 6 even, and like really take my time with like a round shader and pull like a slow line, which I just never was used to doing.
I know on the opposite of that, some of the early concerns I heard about in the industry as rotaries were starting to become more of a thing is, so coil guys were like, we like that spring. We like that little extra give. We think it's a lot less trauma to the skin.
They hurt less.
Which sounds weird to think that a coil would be less trauma.
Right.
But because that rotary did just go, like you told us.
It always hits that bottom point.
Did the same thing, and it just goes, and there's no, you don't have that forgiveness of the whole spring that you have in a coil.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were afraid of blowing out, overworking skin, chewing people up, you know, with those rotaries. And that's what kept a lot of people from making that transition early on.
I really think so too. And I mean, I felt it also, like just getting tattooed from 2010 to 2000 and let's say like 18, most every artist I was getting tattooed was using a coil. And like tattoos fucking hurt. And when you're young, they hurt less than when you're older. But like, I remember my first tattoo by a rotary and was like, damn, this shit's like fucking, it hits. It fucking hits. From a 3-round liner to a fucking 14-round shader.
It doesn't matter what's in there.
It's just, I think that lack of forgiveness, and I'm not talking about like on a meaty spot, but when it goes from like meat to like wrist bone, the difference to me, I could feel it, especially if the artist wasn't aware that rotary is always going to hit the bottom point no matter how hard the surface is. With a coil, if it hits a hard spot, that top spring just gives. Yeah. And so it's not actually hitting that bottom point as like a rotary does. And the wavelength of it is, the rotary is more of an S line, right? And like a coil is very much like down, up, down, up, down, up. Yeah. It's just a different sensation for the body, I think. And I don't care either way. I love tattoos. Like, whatever the artist wants to do you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but I think both machines, I don't think either one of them are ever going to be like not a thing. I don't think.
Right. Just like Tabori.
People will always tattoo with everything.
Fucking bones.
There's still like hipster kids doing stick and poke.
purposely.
because they want to.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck it, dude. If you want to do a fucking 3-inch tattoo in 8 hours, by all means.
and we had an artist in our
Not talking shit.
we had an artist in our old shop for a while that did hand poke tattoos. That was all she did, and people came.
And I appreciate it. So, like,
But I think it's just better, like what works for you. But like, it is wild to see, because I feel when the when the rotaries and the pens first came out, there was a lot of pushback.
for sure, bro.
People did not want to make that swap. They didn't believe in it, and that's why they created those. It hits too hard. It's unforgiving. It doesn't have the spring.
It doesn't heal as nicely.
Right.
Saturation's not whatever, all the things. And
I think it sounded like
the
it
cruder
hurt
jokes
less
of,
because it was quiet.
in that I wanted to go into was the transition of going to flash shops in the 90s, 2000s, like tattooing as we knew it as kids, teens, early 20s.
Sound like a motorcycle
It
shop.
was a fucking rough environment.
Mhm.
Like, it was abrasive. Customer service was not a fucking thing. It was like,
No.
sit the fuck down, pick some shit, and like, let's go. Like, I'm not here to be your therapist or your babysitter. Like, and I remember the first like rotary shop I walked to in Venice Beach, California, and it was like jazz, fine art on the walls, quiet as fuck. I'm like, are these guys even tattooing? They all got headphones on. They're not even talking. I'm like, what the fuck?
When was that again?
That was 2016. I got my stomach done there with like my stepmom and sister. And it was just a different, but then I like kind of was like, yo, it's kind of nice to like hear my little like headphones or like watch the show or talk to people across the room that are getting tattooed. And I was like, okay, like I love coils and traditional things in general. I'm very much a traditionalist, whether it's any kind of form of life. I always like love tradition, but dude, I don't know, like the shift in just the culture of it doesn't have to be a hard environment anymore, and it can be like a pleasant experience, from like a customer service to like the ambiance. And
That's probably the biggest
You know?
change.
I think that's what I want to
Like
really talk about in this episode.
my first tattoo, I didn't get till I was like 20, maybe 21. Granted, I lived in a state where they were illegal. We discussed that earlier, Oklahoma. But even then, we would drive to Texas, and they all just were like biker shops, and there's like a bunch of bikers in there, and it was a fairly intimidating
Fuck yeah.
thing to walk into a
As a
tattoo
20-year-old,
shop as a
like,
20-year-old kid
With no tats.
with no tats. I didn't even do drugs.
I don't know,
I'm not even
fucking
like
motorcycle.
I was about as hard as a feather. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's what kept me away for so long. Only when I had like 3 or 4 friends go with me that wanted tattoos did we finally go and actually get tattoos. But I went to that shop. It was a biker guy that helped me, and like to Josh's point earlier with the customer service, like I'm pretty sure he said 3 things to me when I got tattooed. What do you want? Get in the chair, and that'll be $125. Like that was the extent of our conversation. The entire tattoo, he was smoking a cigarette. I'm pretty sure I was smoking a cigarette. I'm pretty sure I was sitting on like a cloth chair, you know, like
Shit.
porous. He had his inks on a file cabinet. Like it was just not what it is now. And like you can't run a show like that anymore if you want to
Fuck no.
get business. Like now you have moms bringing their kids in because they graduated high school and they're paying for their first tattoo. Like that's been the biggest change in our industry. I feel it's like just the customer service aspect of it and the welcomeness of it versus not.
Right. And there's, don't get us wrong, there are thousands and thousands of shops that are still, if you want that like
For
gritty fucking underground tattoo experience, like you can get it. And I'm so thankful that that's still a part of tattooing overall.
Yeah,
because
I hope
like
it never goes away.
Street shops to the core need to exist. Like
For sure.
funny ass flash, like all the chaos, like because at the end of the day, it is a pirate. I hate saying industry, but like culture. And like
Mhm.
tattoo artists aren't supposed to be like buttoned up Four Seasons desk receptionist. Like at the end of the day, we chose this because we all have a bit of alternative spirit in us and like and are just artists. Like so I don't think like and that's no offense, I'm not down with like the all white shops that have like tan shelves and plants on the wall and no fucking art and a TV and lo-fi hip hop jazz playing the whole day. Like, don't get me wrong, if you're like an amazing artist and I love your work, I will come get a tattoo from you and I'll be super happy with it and I'm glad I'm in a clean environment. But like, is that where I want to get tattooed and where I want to hang out when I'm getting tattooed? Not really.
Right. And that could almost lead into like another big change is like who's tattooing these days, you know? It's like
Totally. And who's getting tattooed these
Mhm.
days? Like that, I think a great change to talk about is like the realm of people that are getting tattooed now. Like you said, the mothers bringing their daughter in who are 18 and they come in Louis bags and they're all like dressed up and like very like buttoned up people. There's shops and artists that can cater to them really well. And then
Yep.
there's and your grandmothers and whoever, and they want to feel like safe. They don't want to hear like fucking pussy and all this shit on like the radio and
Gangster
like
rap
you know
going,
like
yeah.
and homies over here blowing fucking lines and talking about last night like fucking
Right,
hookers and
right.
shit. Like
cleaning his 9 mil.
right.
Yeah.
Like and so but I think like which is really cool is there's every option for who you are. There's a shop and an artist for you now.
Just shopping an artist that fits everyone's lifestyle and comfort level,
It wants and needs.
which that wasn't a thing 20 years ago.
No, like if you had a tattoo in 1995 to 2010
You went to a
or the 80s
Tattoo
or
shop and they
70s,
were all the same.
They were. And
Roughly.
yeah, I mean, like they were hardened individuals. Some of them, like most of them, said fuck school, dropped out, joined gangs, went to jail, whatever the deal is. Like, not saying everyone, but it was a hardened group. It wasn't
There's a rebel.
Hipster Dan from
There's a rebel background in our industry.
North
It's always been that way, you know. Like there's just always been that
Edge.
outlaw sort of edge, outlaw angle to like we've always been ruffians and outlaws and stuff like that
And I
over the
think
years. But I don't think that's true anymore.
no, it's dude, no, fuck no. We got like
Now you have people with like masters in fine art that are tattooing and like people that are like
the whole like sections like hot pink with plushies and there's a whole different like vibe to which I think is awesome. Like I want diversity. I don't want it to be like biker dudes with tats get tats like or biker chicks. Like it's like literally every walk of life right now
is a tattoo artist or can potentially be a tattoo artist, which is crazy. It's cool. It is very cool.
But at what point are we diluting from like the traditionalists who are so loyal to the coil till they die and flash shops to the end of them? Like, at what point does there need to be a slight shift to this is what it is? Like, tattooing is an alternative art form, an alternative lifestyle to where if you don't like hearing abrasive music or you don't like people cussing or living freely, should you really be here? I don't know. Like I'm asking, I'm not trying to say that's.
No, I think that's a great question. If you look
like,
at like,
when is it going to get so diluted that tattooing is just like not cool anymore?
Right.
Or even cool to have them or get them.
Right. You know, I don't know, because it's interesting to think about how since biker dudes and ruffians and your Sailor Jerrys and all that started tattooing, and like it's just been that way for like
it's just been that way.
Like 100 years, bro.
Yeah.
And then I think the swap from having those like more outlaw ruffian type individuals tattooing to now any walk of life as a tattoo artist. Man, I think that's only happened in the past like 3 or 4 years, like since COVID.
It really, okay. And so that's where I wanted to say, like, I'm not saying that everything should stay the same. There's like, should be growth in every society and everything. But the traditional values of tattooing that I want to speak on is like, have an apprenticeship, learn the right way, pay your dues. Everyone above you that's laid this groundwork for you to even be a tattoo artist had to go through this shit. And like nowadays it's like, oh, I didn't like them because they were mean to me. I kind of know how to tattoo now. I'm going to go on YouTube and shit, and then I'm going to go start a shop on the same fucking block.
Get my own apprentice
when I don't even know shit about tattooing.
You don't even know how to tattoo.
Never
yet.
even done a fucking sleeve or a back piece. Like they're just fucking selling like Pinterest. They're not even doing half of them original art.
Ignorant tattoos, bro. Which
is a trend until you realize what good tattoos look like and you go get that shit covered up when you're 28 because no one wants fucking all that. But I've had plenty of that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have that, I'm not like talking shit to you, your body, your choice, but like,
yeah, no, I hear
it's really hard to walk through life and be taken seriously when you have some fucking whack ass tattoos. And I think I didn't realize that until I like tried to be taken seriously and have respect amongst my peers.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, I mean, that's another great point is like with apprenticeships now versus even when I apprenticed, you know, like, I mean, I had all the shit, right? Like the owners yelling at me, like I'm like on my cell phone. They're like, what are you doing? Clean something. You know, you're just sitting there on your phone, like draw something, clean something, scrub tubes, whatever.
I just mop again.
Now you can't even like, I don't know, people are they're just soft and they just don't. And I don't know, maybe like that's something to really explore if you think about it, right? Like
for sure.
You could probably label a lot of apprenticeships could be labeled probably as like borderline abusive relationships.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
and that's not okay, but it's also like, it's kind of okay. I mean, like it should be it shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be like part of that is to weed out who really wants it.
Right.
And who just wants to do it because they think Kat Von D's rad or whoever.
Right. Like abuse is wrong. You should never put your hands on somebody or like
abuse is wrong.
People.
But like I got the way I was treated my apprenticeship, like it was fine. Like I credit a lot of it to being like where I am today. Like I don't know that I would be here if I didn't have that like fucking hard knock, you know, like figure it out, like learn your shit. Don't be a dick.
And like, dude, I know we both had like a similar thing. And when I came into Junkyard, Rick was his co-owner, you know, he was hard on.
And Rick was one of my original mentors.
He was a tough dude when it came to tattooing and the execution, like, but it like lit that fire in me of like, I'll fucking show you. Like, you're not going to push me out this door. You say whatever the fuck you want. And yeah, dude, my shit's like not great. So like, I'm in my head, like, I fucking agree with you. But like, one of these days, I'm just working for that, like, good job, bro. Well, solid fucking tattoo.
That mistreatment is inspiring.
It's inspiring. Like, I just want you to look at me one day and be like, you're one of us. Like, good fucking job.
Right. And you know what? That's interesting because I think it was inspiring to me that abuse or mistreatment or whatever was inspiring to you. I don't think it's inspiring to anybody anymore.
And I
think the majority of the people get in that situation. Their mentor talks shit on them, says try again or
do better.
They feel they're mistreated in any way, shape, or form. They're out the door.
Yeah.
They just go leave. And they talk to whoever and they start their own shop or they just start working somewhere.
Right.
and they're over the whole tattoo thing altogether. But that's what that is designed to do. Those
It's
apprenticeships
designed to do that.
being hard are a gatekeeping effort so that not everybody in the whole world is a tattoo artist.
And guess what? What I was trying to teach, like, our apprentices at the time back then was Lily would call me every other week. You're such an asshole. Why do you gotta fucking talk like that? Like, blah, blah. And I'm like, Lillian, I'm doing this because you're great and you're gonna be great and you need tough skin. Your clients are not gonna be nice to you. Half of them, sure. But you are gonna get people that treat you like crap and talk down to you and act like they know better. And like, you need to learn how to like compose yourself and actually be constructive and like get to the end goal, which is doing a good tattoo and satisfying that person and have them come back. So
For sure.
if you can't deal with someone that claims to, I'm fucking here for you, I may not be nice all the time, but I'm here for you. If you can't deal with that, your client is not here for you, bro. Like, they can go other places and they will.
Mhm.
And they're going to act like that. They're going to be like, I don't fucking need this. Like, I'm going to go down the shop. Like,
Yeah.
and so you need to be able to like defuse your brain and like your emotion and just be like, how else can I draw this? Like, what if I made this change? Or how can I make you comfortable? Or whatever. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of battles with, if doing a tattoo is not just doing a tattoo, it's meeting someone, it's a consult, it's there's a lot of steps before you even start tattooing, and you have to like, you can't just be a great artist. You
No.
need to be a well-rounded person if you really want to go somewhere in this industry, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Well, and now that's even evolved more, right? You've got to be a fun person to be around. You've got to be likable, approachable.
Yeah.
Like customer service matters now. And because like the shop that he and I both started at or worked at last anyway, 10 years ago in Louisville, Colorado, it was the only shop in town. So if you lived in Louisville, you wanted to stay in Louisville, you wanted a tattoo, Junkyard Inc. was your only option. Now there's like 7 shops in
Yeah.
Louisville or something. So like it goes back to that, how tattoo artists used to have that more salty
Territorial.
attitude, territorial, because they could tell you to fuck off and it would mean something because you
really didn't have anywhere
your
to
next
go.
tattoo shop might be 50 miles away.
Right.
Now it's probably only about 30 feet away.
Right.
Like there's just tattoo shops everywhere.
And on that, like,
So people have options.
shop owners as well, like, I think I've never owned a shop. You're on your second. Like, the change I'm sure that you've seen is the kindness or just the ability to like work within a similar city,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, and many, like, you opened up a shop on the same quarter-mile block as someone else 20 years ago, chances are you're going to have bullet holes and Molotov cocktails
Oh, yeah.
in your lobby waiting for you
Oh, yeah.
a
Set
week
that down.
after your grand opening.
Fire.
And so, like,
Especially if you're an apprentice at that shop.
I don't want to say, and then even like, I remember, not going to say names, like a mentor saying that like they'd want to break my hand if I left before my time was up as an apprentice. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
can you imagine saying that to someone now?
You can.
Like, they were like, I'll make sure you'll never be able to tattoo the same again.
But that was status quo
That was status quo.
20 years ago.
And so, like, and those people are still in shops tattooing today, people that received that or treated people
Dealt
like that.
it. Yeah.
And it's a really weird social dynamic right now between the Gen Z artists coming up with like 2-3 generation artists ahead of them and having to like find a similar level to exist on, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
because it's changed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, there are more changes now today than commonalities for the last 80 years.
For sure. For sure.
Like,
Like, I think a lot of the old stories of people like getting their hands broken and having their shop burned down because they had beef with whoever they moved 5 doors down from or whatever. Like, that's all it's fun. It's part of the history of our craft, our work.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's like,
but it just doesn't happen
not
anymore.
a modern way to go about business.
Even now, like what, 2 years ago, we finally started being looked into by the FDA.
Right.
Like, it's been a pretty lawless industry, really.
For sure.
Until recently.
And I think, like, another thing to note is, like, I think the respect value, because there are so many artists now, and social media, and the difference between walking into a shop and asking and viewing a hard copy portfolio, like, you kind of already know what you're gonna get before you go to the store or the shop or parlor. And so, like, you opened the shop last summer, and there are shops right down the road from us in either direction, in every direction.
At least 10.
But, like, we tried to come in with I was DMing dudes like, yo, we're moving down the street. Just wanted to, like, extend an olive branch, like, not trying to move in on you. It's a really populated area. Like, we needed to change. And, like, I feel like as long as you're respectful towards that person and not trying to, like, poach artists or poach clients and let them know, hey, I'm coming, like, obviously people can be like, fuck you, fuck off, this is my neighborhood. But at least, like, it's like, I can at least say I tried. Where 15 years ago, you're not going to, like, call the shop's landline, hey, bro, like, black flag here, like, we're moving down the street. They'd be like, get fucked, expect some shit. Like,
15 years ago, we might not still be here.
Right. No.
Right? Like,
no.
Very likely.
Very, very likely.
They just light on fire or whatever they did.
Right.
Or my hands might
find us in the parking lot and figure it out.
Shit out of us.
But the cool thing on that note is, like, the differences in the shops. Now there's way more clients because tattooing is 25 years ago.
So
you didn't
much
see
more
grandmas
acceptable.
with tattoos. Like,
now they do.
Unless they got them in the 40s. But it's like, we're not in direct competition with each other, which I think is a really cool part of the industry now.
I agree.
I don't care if you do stick and pokes or flash tattoos off Pinterest that are fine line. Like, you know what? I don't really want to do those tattoos. It's not even my jam. So, like, by all means, move in next door and do that shit. Like, what you can do is not what I can do, and what I can do is not what you can do. So,
yeah, and I think,
why am I going to burn your shop down when I don't even want your clients anyways?
Right. I think we have more now that we have, like, there are so many shops and there are more clients
specialized
to go around. Like, the different shops, the different personalities of the various shops around, they attract those customers too. So it's like, there's arguably, right, there's, like, some clients that would never even want to be a part of going to a shop that was, like, opened by a 2-year-long tattoo artist that just does small bangers based on what they want to tattoo that day, or maybe it's a spiritual experience. I don't know. But, like, then there's clients that want to go to those more rugged shops and
find something
and everything in between. So I think the shops, you attract your people. You know, you're
which is, like, I think why I don't lose sleep overnight after, like, we live in, per capita, the most populated state in the United States with tattoo artists. They are everywhere, and they range from some of the world's best to
some of the world's worst.
Never fucking tattoo again.
I know a couple.
But it's like, you will find your spot and your people, and you'll grow with them. And, like, I always say, like, don't compare yourself to the person down the street. If you really want to compare yourself to the greatest and figure out how to get better. But, like, I'm not losing sleep over dude down the street who also does a similar style as me. Like, I'm my own person, they're their own person. There's a lot of people in the city. Fuck it. Like, I'm just going to focus on my own work.
Yeah. And a lot of us are artists with, like, we're all supported by our friend group, you know? Like,
right.
You start off and that's all you're tattooing is your homies.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to show you love and support your dream. And then, you know, and then later you're tattooing your homies, and like it all gets very connected. You know,
word of mouth is truly our best marketing.
Yeah, yeah. And over the years, like people have approached me and been like, "Hey, my friend has a lot of tattoos. I think he'd like your work, you know." And whatever, I'll give him a card or contact information. Sure, tell your friend about me. But in the back of my head, I know that likely your friend already has their tattoo person. They've been with them forever. They're homies or whatever background they have together. And I'm not going to swoop in on that. And they're not going to swoop in on my shit either. You know, it's just...
I'll wait for them to text me, or the day you guys roll in together and they can check my art out.
Yeah, and if they want to...
If it's organic.
And they like it, then sure. But I think for the most part, I think artists attract you. They attract, and it's like your tribe, like you said earlier. And I think people are pretty loyal to tattoo artists now.
I think so.
Unless they irritate them or something.
That, and a different change that I've seen just in my 12 years tattooing is people used to, I think actually people were a little more loyal when there was only one shop in the town or two or three. Mm-hmm. And ever since social media came out, like what I would watch our apprentices do at the old shop with adding 1 million people on Facebook and Instagram and then DMing all of them, like they had a very cutthroat way of putting themselves out there.
But they're like chasing it.
They chased it hard and would, like, in my opinion, if like some shitty apprentice was like DMing my clients on a regular, like, oh bro, I'll tattoo you for free. Like, I don't care if my clients go to other artists. I'm not the like jealous artist type, but like if they take advantage of that random text and then they go get this tattoo and then they come to me a month later like, bro, I saw someone else, this shit sucks, like, can you cover it? I'm like, well, yes, but you knew what you were gonna get. Like, why? It's just, it can be annoying in my eyes because it's like, now I just have to cover this work up. Obviously that's more business for me, but like I'd rather the fresh skin and people like not take that just aggressive outreach.
They're trying to order a filet mignon at McDonald's.
Yeah, and I'm just whatever. Like, bro, like we've gone over this. Like, good tattoos aren't cheap, and cheap tattoos aren't good. Like, I don't know how to stress that any more than we have. And I'm not trying to tell someone you got to stick with me, bro. But like, please just see a good artist if you want a good tattoo and pay the money. Like, but way off track. It's just the outreach, I think, with the youth it's wild to watch. And that's, I think, a big change. Like, we didn't used to just pick up the phone booth, book, or go through like the school directory and just like call every person.
Open up the white pages.
Like, I don't care who your friends is or who tattoos you. Like, come see me, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's wild. But that they're just like aggressively like messaging
on
people.
Like dating apps and shit, basically. Like,
I've seen
not
that.
Even looking for a date, but like just clients.
I've seen that. I've seen tattoo artists. I've seen them on like dating apps. I've seen them on Marketplace.
Yeah.
Craigslist, and just it's wild.
Random areas.
It's wild.
And like I give them credit where it's due. Like, that if the rule of marketing, right, is to like get your product in front of people. So I'm not like blaming them. It's just a very like careless, that's the word I was looking for. I feel like it's just a little careless and like not as respectful. Like, to me, to put that in a real life situation, it's like when we had an artist at the old shop where he'd be doing a tattoo and like he would walk up and like put a business card on the table and be like, yo, hit me up when you want a good tattoo. Like, fuck this guy. And like, that type of shit is how I see like aimlessly reaching out to people that you don't know and don't know who they're like connected with and getting tattooed by, or just even friends with, or who they don't like and don't connect with, and you're just like, I feel like it can go kind of weird.
Oh yeah.
It just can be weird for a lot of parties
What
involved.
if you randomly hit up someone that you didn't even know was a tattoo artist?
Right.
And you're
like,
just like,
and then you're like,
hey bro, I
you
can
didn't
give
even
you like
look at my shit.
$60,
Line work.
5-inch bangers or whatever.
I'm like,
Black
do
and
not
gray.
take the 5 minutes or like the 45 seconds to like click on my profile and like see that I'm actually also a tattoo artist.
Right. And now you're trying to sell your.
And now when I see you at a convention or on the street, I'm like, that's that fucking asshole that like just wants to poach everyone's artist.
Yeah. But I mean, that being said too, it's like you have tattoo shops now, and when you look at their marketing and advertising and that, because there are so many of them, like they're going online and they're advertising on Meta and like Nextdoor app, and they're no different than a big, like just a company like Target or like whatever. They're just, more and more normalization, I guess, is happening just because you have to do it to compete.
And I think like that's where I'm just like
to even be on the map.
A salty traditionalist, where it's like, dude, if you want to do that, do you? Like, I truly don't really give a fuck, but I know there are artists that do, so I'm just more like laying the groundwork for that.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit much, like with some of the like messaging people and like dating apps to get tattoo clients, like. Maybe not. I mean, whatever. We all have to make our own path and do our own thing and get our business however we do that.
Yeah.
But
just like
it's just wild because
kind of an interesting thing.
Well, and poaching was always very taboo.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like
now it's not.
The poaching of clients and the lack of accountability and loyalty towards your mentors or shop is kind of going hand in hand with the young generation. And I'm a millennial, like I'm still a part of this new wave, but I'm like, you guys, we like have to have some type of character and like loyalty towards like that person may have been a fucking dick or an asshole or said they'd drop cards on my table or whatever, but like I wouldn't be tattooing without him. So I'm definitely not going to go open a shop right down the street and poach my friends at their job, because you just see like when people leave, they leave in waves, and it's not necessarily the like 35 to 55 year old crowd. It's the 19 to 25 year old crowd who like just chits and chit chatters and
yep.
This place, they're kind of dicks, and like we could have our own little. It's the blind leading the blind, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen so many groups leave the shop over years, and it's that you're like, really?
Like we could have just sat down and talked about whatever the fuck was.
You three are gonna go set up a shop,
right?
Cool.
Good fucking luck.
Let me know how that works out for you. And you know what? It did. It worked out for a lot of them.
And that's the truth too. I mean, if you
they
know
made
what
it
you
happen,
got,
they made their way, and they didn't want to put up with whatever they didn't want to put up with, and good for you, man.
No, straight up, yeah,
it's all good. But
no hard feelings.
It's also just like I was having a conversation not too long ago with Katie about this. How like, I've always said to pretty much every apprentice that's come into the shop, yes, I will apprentice you if I think that I wanted to apprentice them. But I would also say, like one day you're gonna fucking hate me.
Yeah.
And for the most part, there's a lot of them that don't like me. And I can look now at some of my mentors, don't like them. But I do still have that shred of respect for them, because without them, I might not be tattooing today.
Right.
And I'll always give them that. I don't have to like them.
No.
I don't ever have to want to go have a beer with them, because I don't. But I will always give them that they were the reason I got into the industry.
It's where you came from.
And it's your history. And I think a lot of the newer folks, don't have that same level of.
I think it's like chasing the dollars and the followers, and like it's not where I came from, it's where I'm going mindset.
Yeah.
And that it can be like hard sometimes. I mean, and like I had like a rent reduction to help teach apprentices, but like if you added up my hourly rate and my teaching time, I'm in the whole 80 grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it's like, I just want a little bit of loyalty because I'm pumping everything I know into you and showing up for you and giving you assignments and like texting you at 2 a.m, picking up the phone calls on the weekends or what. Like, I'm fucking here for you. If you're here and you're my apprentice, I'm fucking here for you. But I don't love the like, I got an opportunity at another shop and it's like super cool and hip and shit. And like, I'm going to go over there. It's like, bitch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You would not have gotten that fucking call if it wasn't for us.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
And so like in that, my friends, to being a mentor or a shop owner, contracts are important, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not for necessarily artists that pay booth rent, but or even commission, but for the young tattooers that have a high art level and have no idea how to tattoo.
Well, and they're all, yeah.
They got the groundwork in the other mediums of art. They're gonna be good once they learn the technical side. So like, if you're gonna put that much time into them, I would say hold on to them for 3 to 5 years just to get your investment back.
Yeah,
because
like,
that's what it is.
Yeah, to that point, like, you know, you look at artists that apprenticed. Well, I can't say that. That's not true. I just feel like at one point there was way better, way more loyalty.
Yeah.
With the mentor apprentice relationship. Dynamic. Like they would stay with that shop for the entirety of their careers.
A lot of people did.
A lot of them. Certainly not all. But I would say more. I don't know. What would you say? I would say more now. Don't.
Oh, no. And I mean, a lot of those people that left those shops in years past, they were moving to a different state. Their like spouse got a job in a different state, or their parents got sick and they had to move. Like
right.
Nowadays, you got people jumping ship to move 3 miles down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the type of shit where I'm like,
that's
bro, like it's not affecting your clientele. But I get if it's so fucking toxic at your shop, like to where it's like borderline illegal what's going on there, fucking leave.
Right.
Leave. But like if you're just like, these guys are cool and it's nicer over there, like it's a slap in the face because it's like, damn, I shouldn't have taught you.
Yeah.
Because now you're just gonna go make money and I get nothing out of it.
I have old apprentices that I regret teaching.
Yeah. I also am proud of some.
But I'm very proud of some that I taught. Yeah, like to that point, like I've been tattooing 15 years. I've only been to 2 shops, and I ended up being an owner of one of them, and now I'm the owner of this one. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like.
But if you're all for yourself, which I think a lot of people are, and there's nothing wrong with being like, I'm a booth renter. I'm just here. If I pay you rent, we're good. Like, I don't need to be a part of the umbrella. If that's your mode, I'm sure everyone already knows that at the shop. You're not really a team player, but like the role that you choose should be clear. And a lot of people are self-serving. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those folks get, they don't last. The ones that last, I feel, are the ones that are like, you know, I'm part of this team. I'm part of this family.
Like we grow together.
Because,
I mean, if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. And the like instant gratification of the change in the industry with social media has really given people like a sense of self where they don't care about the shop's followers. They care about their followers. And
Yeah,
like,
100%.
and I get it's your life and your job and your career. So like, yeah, that shit's super fucking important. Put that at the top. But I also think like walking around the shop and videoing people and like having a collective role, it just boosts the team. And the longer you're with the team, the further you guys, the higher the peak you can reach.
Right. Like if someone comes into a tattoo shop and they interview one person there, or let's say one guy at your shop goes on to be on Ink Master, right? Like, who benefits the most from that one interview or that Ink Master visit? That person. But the whole shop really is going to have grab some benefit from that.
For sure.
Now you can say you're in a shop with this guy or whatever.
Like if we go work with Carlos Torres tomorrow, shout out, bro. Like you will have new eyes on you.
Oh yeah.
So like positioning yourself under people and shows in certain situations or conventions, like it's good, but I feel like it's also just go back to your team and like boost that up, you know?
Boost everybody. And then that's something that those people that don't want to be part of the necessarily like a part of their family.
Yeah.
They just want to come in, pay their rent, tattoo,
go
home. They want to hang out. You know, you're not going to benefit as much.
You're not. And I think that's another
from
big
when the shop
change
goes good
in the industry where it's always been a job, but before it was a lifestyle. Like,
yeah.
And the shift I really see is like, yo, people got families, they're sober, they don't like to party, they don't like to hang out, they want to make their fucking money and go home. And I will not ever blame someone for having a life outside tattooing. It's just when you are like a tattooer's tattooer, when you want to chill and be in the shop, like that's, I think, the separation of what it was then and what it is now. Like it is a job, and people will say, dude, it's just my job. Like, so you're now dealing with people that live and breathe this shit and all they do and hang out with is tattoo artists and tattoo related things. Because some of us, you know, I mean, they're going to 30 conventions a year. They go home to sleep. Like that's it. And like their life revolves around tattooing. And those are the people I think, well, I wanted to note, I always used to tell one of our apprentices, you don't want to be the artist that's worked at 20 shops.
No.
Going back to loyalty, like if I have an interview today for a chair, if you've both been tattooing for 12 years, this person's worked at 25 shops in the same city or state, and this person's worked at 2, 90% of the time I'm going with this person. They may like change and they may be kind of like a wild soul and they just like to change and do all that. Great. No problem with that. But I just want to I want to put my money on the racer that doesn't have issues, doesn't run away from things, doesn't cause drama. Because realistically, someone that's left and been at 10 plus shops, at a certain point, you got to look in the mirror and be like, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the cancer in the shop. Like, not every shop you worked at were all assholes or dickheads and shit. Like, maybe you're just kind of an intolerable person that people are assholes to you because you're not fun to be around. Like,
well, it's funny because anybody that I've ever interviewed for my shops that has been like that, where they've been to like, they've worked at 15 other shops or 10 other shops in an 8-year career. And yeah, they come in and they're like, well, those guys over there are a bunch of assholes. Oh, what about this shop? Says you worked here from well, those guys are dicks.
They're not clean. Like, they're disrespectful.
I'm probably not going to bring you on board.
Yeah,
because I figure you're going to hate us too in about 6 months, and
then we're just going to have to fill your chair
and move on. We just got to fill your shit again, and now we've had that bad experience of like having a cancer in the shop.
Right. Rubbing other artists the wrong
Rubbing
way.
them the wrong way, stealing their energy, draining them emotionally, physically, whatever.
To where they, instead of drawing, go home.
It's not worth it. Like,
It's
we won't
not.
even, I mean, this is a small shop that we're in now, but like, if we ever bring anybody else in here, like, they are going to need to jive with everyone in the shop.
It's not only about the portfolio.
No, it's
And-
about, like, because we see these people every day, you know?
Yeah.
To
In
that
an
point-
intimate environment, like we're tattooing each other, and like
Yeah.
holiday parties, like we're close. We
We
go
hang
to
out.
lunch every day.
Yeah,
You know, like
yep.
I want to like the people I'm going to work with. And
You have to.
now tattooers can be, in a sense, a dime a dozen, maybe not good ones, but we have options, like at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, we don't need to fill, you know.
like we'll find someone.
Right.
We may have to wait 2 months
But
instead
there's-
of getting them today,
There's
but
plenty of options.
we can hang on for months,
Yeah, yeah.
for the right person.
Well, another thing you brought up a second ago that I wanted to kind of elaborate on was like I think that something that's very big change is like, I feel like used to be you worked at a tattoo shop, you went there during the hours of that tattoo shop. And for the most part, unless you had something going on, you were there from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. or whatever. And now I just hear about other people at other shops that go work there, and they're like, they don't last long or whatever it is. And then I have a conversation with them. Why didn't you last long? I thought you just started there like 2 months ago or whatever. And they're like, well, it's weird because like, unless someone has a tattoo, they don't even show up.
That is such a fucked up
And I've heard that about
shop to be in.
more shops than not.
For sure. It's, yeah, like one of our
People are
apprentices
coming in for
said that.
a tattoo appointment,
And then,
and then that's it.
Like, I'm going to go do me. And dude, it's like,
And they might not even show up
the
for 3 days.
only reason we're here, I mean, we could all go do, if you're good enough, you can start a private studio. And
Sure.
come and go as you please.
Sure.
But like, we're in studios and shops, parlors to feed off each other, to inspire each other. Like, you were a painter, I was a painter. Going to the studio every day by myself, aka my separated garage from my house, and just wearing bummy ass clothes and just chilling alone with my same music all the time and just brush to canvas. That shit is not inspiring to me. I need people around me. I want, oh dude, that's fucking sick. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go pull out my pad now and like draw
Yep.
some crazy shit. Like,
Yep.
but like when you're in those types of shops where everyone's just like, yeah, I'm going to lunch, I'm out. Like, I'll probably be back tomorrow. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have it booked yet. Like, I'm like, can you not just like come and like draw or tattoo me, or I'll tattoo you or whatever, you know? I
Shoot
mean,
the
like,
shit,
fucking
talk.
A, like,
Yeah. Just be a part of the family. It's
which time and change, it's no longer a clubhouse anymore like it used to be. With there's still 50% of the shops are clubhouses, and you know, people are there, people drop in just to chill and chat, but like that aren't artists or clients at the moment. But we've really moved and shifted towards, because of social media and client outreach, to the artist and picking someone based exactly on their portfolio before they even walk in the shop. It's turning into like a by appointment only kind of
It really is.
industry.
It really is.
I
And
guess
I
you could
can't think
say,
of
but
any other industry that's like that.
like that just kind of flipped overnight. And like you said, COVID really ramped that up of like booking online, doing everything online. You don't even get a fucking menu at a restaurant. Like, everything's on the phone now. And like,
Just scan that code, bro.
but honestly, why the fuck would I drive across town to go sit on a couch with some assholes that don't want to talk to me and be like, hey, what's your Instagram, bro? And like sit there when I could just go on Google, tattoo artist nearby, littered with shops, go to the shop website, click on the artist, go to their Instagram,
Mhm.
sit there for 2 hours, the same amount of time that would take me to drive across town and talk to these people. I've already looked at 55 artists and I know exactly who the fuck I want to go to. Like, at that point, it's just pop them an email or a DM, and we're setting up our appointment. So
right.
The biggest change in my eyes is like, and the sad part is walk-in street shops that aren't on Hollywood Boulevard or Jersey Shore, very highly South Beach populated places where people are just getting drunk and they're like, let's go get a fucking Corona logo on our leg. Like, if you're not one of those destinations, unfortunately, I feel like the days of walk-ins and Flash are becoming not extinct, and I don't think it ever will be, but it's few and far between.
Less and less, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's like, I feel like I asked you a couple of days ago, like, where'd all the walk-ins go? Like, nobody walks into a tattoo shop anymore. You don't have to, and they're not even set up that way for the most part.
They really aren't.
Where are you going to walk into a tattoo shop and no one's there? Like,
right.
No fucking point in that.
And like, if they are there, they're fucking head down.
They're tattooing. They got their headphones on. They're not even
like, hey, bro, like, car's over there. Hit me up.
Or I don't even know. Like, maybe most modern shops, you try to walk in, they're like, modernshop.com, bro.
Right.
It's all on there.
Do you have an appointment?
There,
yeah.
Pay your deposit on there. You don't even need to talk to anybody until your tattoo appointment.
Right. And then you have like the most modern artists that don't even respond themselves. They just have
I'm representing
a shop manager or an assistant that's in that. I would like, no matter how popular and good I get at tattooing, I always want to talk to my client. Like,
same.
I need to feel this person out, especially if we're doing a leg sleeve, back piece, chest. Like, bro, we're about to spend,
I think that's just
40 hours together. Yeah. Like, I don't want to find out you're just racist as hell and whatever the case may be.
I feel like that's putting a filter that doesn't need to be there.
Right.
On the client artist relationship.
Because they pick us, but at the end of the day, if you're good enough, you're choosing your clients too. I mean,
I tried to get an artist
booked up. You don't really need to take shit you don't want to do.
You can't. Yeah, like we've all like tried to go to. I tried to get appointments years ago at various conventions with like world famous guys or whatever, and ultimately I wasn't wanting what they were looking to do.
Right.
So I just got told no. And like, that's the reality of it.
But, it is. And that's where you may, if you really want a tattoo from that artist, it's like, yo, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you love the artist enough,
one of them I even said, do whatever you want. And he was like, I don't got time.
Yeah. And I mean, that's probably actually just because the magic words to a tattooer is do whatever you want, dude. Just make it sick. Like,
yeah. So
like, if you say that to me and I'm like, I just don't have time, like, I truly don't have time. Because honestly, if I don't have shit tonight and someone walks in and is like, bro, I just want whatever the fuck you want to do. Just scroll through your portfolio and give me some drawing you've never done. Like,
I'm gonna stay
here till 2 a.m. and
get in the chair,
and do the best because I want to.
I've been waiting for you.
Right. It's like the universe was speaking.
Welcome.
So yeah, but
all right. Well, I think that's a pretty good chat for today. I do invite you guys on this episode when you watch it, leave comments. Like, again, this is going to be at least another 3 episodes talking about all the changes in this industry. We might be missing shit. Like, if you're a client, if you're a fellow tattooer out there in video land, put in the comments like what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, or what you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
And we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Like, we want this to very much be a podcast for the people, and like, we want to hear from you, and we want to address what you want us to address.
Mainly, honestly, like, we're here to talk, but I want to talk about what you want to hear. And
because we talk like this all the time. Only did we recently start deciding to put it up on the internet. So we're here for you. Like, let us know
Yeah,
what
this
you want
is
to talk
our
about.
conversation as a whole.
Like, we can just talk like this. We don't need to put it on the internet.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. As always, we really appreciate you. Like, comment, follow,
Subscribe.
subscribe, share, all the good stuff. Until next time.